Man started to feel that his two cats might be a bit slow. One day, he held up a tablet and pretended to feed them, and both cats actually fell for it, licking the screen non-stop as if the food were real. The man stood there completely speechless and began to wonder if his cats were truly not very smart. So he decided to test their intelligence. He placed real food inside a glass tube to observe their reactions. The first cat simply kept licking the outside of the tube, thinking it could somehow get the food that way. When it was the second cat's turn, it tried to squeeze its body into the tube to grab the food, but ended up getting stuck tightly because it was too chubby. Even then, the man was not ready to give up and came up with yet another test. He hung some treats on a wire and watched how the cats would try to reach them. A clever cat would just lower its head and easily get the snacks. But his two cats behaved very differently. The first one kept stretching out its paw, hoping the treats would fall down on their own, while the second cat walked straight forward and accidentally knocked the treats right into the other cat's mouth. At that moment, the man finally had to admit the truth. His cats really were not the sharpest. Just then, he got another idea. The weather had been extremely hot lately, and the cats were panting constantly, so he decided to try something new. He bought a tiny mini air conditioner, and the cat stared at the small device with confused expressions. Surprisingly, the mini AC actually blew out cool air, and the man found the whole scene very cute. From that moment, he fell into a mini shopping spree, buying all kinds of tiny items one after another. A mini cat tree, a mini treadmill, a mini litter box, and even a tiny brush for grooming. However, the cat showed no interest in any of these small things, until one day the man placed several mini bowls filled with tiny portions of food and called them over. This time, the cats were completely stunned and seemed to think their owner had gone crazy, so they started ignoring him together. The man realized he had gone too far, and in order to win his cats back, he bought a huge mattress just for them. But to his surprise, the cats only circled around it with blank looks, having no idea what he was trying to do. Then one brave little kitten stepped forward and cautiously sat on the mattress. Only then did the man understand that the adult cats simply did not like it. In the end, he had no choice but to buy a comfortable bed for each cat separately. Now, the cats could lie down comfortably, watch cartoons, and even enjoy their own relaxing moments, while the large mattress he originally bought for them naturally became his own bed. In the end, with two silly cats and one playful owner, it was simply a story of mutual affection and companionship. It all started when a small cat discovered a golden fish by the riverside, and the girl quickly brought it home. The cat grew very attached to the fish, guarding it every day and even offering it its favorite cat food. Surprisingly, the fish refused to eat and instead spat out small pieces of gold. After checking, the girl realized it was actually a rare golden koi, something she never expected. The next day, the fish produced even more gold, which made her extremely excited, thinking she might become rich. However, 2 weeks later, something strange happened. The number of fish suddenly increased, but the gold stopped appearing, so the girl decided to release them back into the river. On the way, the cat suddenly sat down and refused to move. When the girl checked, she found a gemstone under its paw. Realizing this place might hold treasures, she began searching nearby and soon picked up an agate, which filled her with joy. Around that time, she met a passerby who seemed to really like the cat, so she kindly gave him the agate. But the passerby kept following her, making her feel uneasy. While distracted, she accidentally dropped her bracelet into the river, and since it was too far away, she had no way to retrieve it and had to give up. As she continued looking for treasures, the passerby kept asking her for what she found, and at one point he even picked up a stick and stepped aside to make a call, which frightened her even more. Thinking she might be in danger, the girl handed over all the treasures she had and quickly ran away with the cat. However, the passerby continued chasing her. In panic, she shouted for help, but was suddenly stopped by a car. It turned out the passerby's bodyguards were inside, and they were not there to harm her at all. In fact, he had followed her the entire time simply because he wanted to buy the cat, believing it to be a lucky one. In the end, who could say no to a cat that seems to bring such good fortune? From the start, this little cat had a habit of squeezing into all kinds of strange places. It loved crawling into boxes, flower pots, and even bags whenever it had the chance. Seeing this, the female owner suddenly got a creative idea. She cut a plastic bottle in half, placed a small blanket inside, and turned it into a tiny cart just for the cat. When the kitten climbed onto it, she gently pushed it around, and the little cat was absolutely delighted. However, a gray cat nearby quickly became jealous and grabbed the cart for itself. Thinking that was unfair, the owner made another cart for the orange cat as well. From then on, the two cats happily rode their little carts all over the house. Watching this, the other cats in the home also wanted their own, so the owner decided to go a step further and built a small cardboard train for them. All the cats had a great time playing together, but suddenly, the cat that first had the cart jumped off, causing chaos among the others. The owner quickly tried to fix the train, yet it did not take long before the cats started fighting over the front seats again. So she decided to upgrade the design, making larger carriages, adding soft cushions inside, and even filling the last carriage with small snacks. After finishing the improvements, she happily took the cats on a journey. They explored wide grasslands, visited a beautiful aquarium, and even experienced a thrilling roller coaster ride. When they returned, the neighbors saw everything and absolutely loved the idea, soon making their own little trains for their cats. After all, who could resist such adorable kittens riding around like this? If you like it, save this idea and try making one for your own cat. One cat in this household was shedding fur like crazy, and the owner suddenly came up with a clever plan. He started gathering all the loose fur and carefully crafted a pair of cute little slippers for one of the cats. Surprisingly, when another cat in the house noticed the slippers, it became a bit jealous and even threw a small tantrum. The owner couldn't help but laugh at how amusing yet heartwarming it was, so he decided to make a special pair of slippers for every cat at home. After finishing all the slippers, there was still a large pile of fur left. Unwilling to waste it, he turned the remaining fur into delicate plush toys for the cats, and the kitties quickly became obsessed with them, playing non-stop. Even after that, some fur was still left over, so he dyed it in different colors and shaped it into figures that looked just like his cats, giving each one its own custom toy. When the neighbors saw these creations, they couldn't help but feel a little envious and wished they had some too. Later, the owner wanted to make himself a cat fur hat, but realized he didn't have enough material, so he bought a comb and pretended to groom the cats while secretly collecting the loose fur. However, the comb worked too slowly, so he switched to a fur vacuum and soon gathered an entire box of fur. Eventually, the cats caught on to his little trick and refused to let him get close anymore, but he didn't give up. Instead, he designed a box with a brush attached inside, so whenever the cats stepped in, fur would naturally stick to it. Unfortunately, his chubby gray cat couldn't fit inside, so he had to build a bigger version just for it. Now with plenty of fur collected, he finally made himself a hat and even created tiny matching hats for each cat. As the weather grew colder, he used the fur to sew small outfits with cute decorations, and when the cats wore them, they looked like tiny models walking around with pride. With the last bit of leftover fur, he made 3 little vests for them, and the fluffy trio happily ran around the house wearing them, full of joy. Turning something as ordinary as shed fur into creative treasures really brought endless fun to their home. Whenever bath time rolled around, this clever little puppy would immediately go undercover, sneaking into a pile of plush toys and blending in so well that the owner could never spot it. But one day things were different. The owner needed to take it out for a vaccine shot. He stood in front of a heap of lifelike puppy plushies and suddenly snapped his fingers, noticing that 2 toys in the corner twitched slightly. He guessed one had to be the real pup, so he pulled out its favorite treats to lure it, yet the puppy didn't fall for it at all. After thinking for a moment, the owner came up with a new plan. He grabbed the remote and pressed a button. The familiar sound made the puppy think it was mealtime, so it jumped out right away, only to realize a second later it had been tricked and exposed. With no escape left, the owner took it to get its shot. After returning home from the vet, the puppy stayed grumpy the entire day and soon started plotting revenge. First it trashed the bathroom, and later that night it leaped onto the owner's face and let out a stinky surprise. As if that wasn't enough, it even ran to the owner's dad to complain, which ended with the owner getting a harsh scolding. Still, he wasn't about to lose, and quickly thought of a counter move. He secretly tied a string to a plush toy and tugged it so it suddenly fell over, startling the puppy so badly that it froze, staring with wide eyes and not daring to go near it, eventually retreating under the bed. Right after that, the owner targeted the puppy's chew stick, pretending to roast it right in front of him, then tossing it aside while yelling that it was too hot. When the puppy ran over, it only dared to paw at the chew stick from a distance and refused to bite it no matter what. Its tiny legs flailed around in a funny way, making it look irresistibly cute and leaving the owner laughing non-stop. This time he finally got the upper hand. With a mischievous and lovable pup like this, it's hard not to smile. Wouldn't you want to give this little? Because the heat was unbearable, the owner decided to prepare a special cooled space for his cats. The weather had been so hot that the cats were constantly panting with their tongues out, and even their beds were covered with sweat marks. To escape the heat, they would squeeze into pots just to sleep, and fur was scattered all over the house, driving the owner crazy. So he bought them a small air-conditioned room, and sure enough, the cats absolutely loved it, even lining up to take turns cooling off inside. Seeing this, the owner thought he might as well get a larger one so all the cats could enjoy it together. However, when he noticed how comfortable it looked, he could not resist trying it himself. He chased the cats out and took over the cool room alone, leaving the cats stunned, and from then on, they ignored him completely. To win them back, the owner bought a refreshing waterbed. At first, the cats were scared of it and jumped away the moment they touched it, but soon they got used to it and began playing happily on top. Unexpectedly, while the owner was asleep, one of the cats accidentally bit a hole in the waterbed. The next morning, when the owner woke up, he slipped and nearly fell flat, only to realize the entire room had been flooded. Wanting to teach them a lesson, he decided to let the cats experience being soaked themselves, so he bought an even bigger waterbed and planned to let them swim in it. At first, all the cats were afraid of the water and bounced away as soon as they touched it, but before long, attracted by the cool feeling, they started playing and splashing around happily. From that day on, the cats begged to play on the waterbed every single day. Honestly, watching cats enjoy the water like this, who wouldn't find them absolutely